supposed to be in rehab now? And how long will you be in rehab?
3 months.
How many times have you been in rehab?
Several.
And how will this time be different? What are they rehabbing, first of all? What is on their list? What are they going to work on when you walk through the door?
The Hollywood feud that's getting worse behind the scenes. At first, it looked like nothing. A subtle comment in an interview, a missed tag on social media, a red carpet moment that felt just a little off. But in Hollywood, silence is rarely accidental because behind the cameras,
what is your problem?
I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
away from scripts, premieres, and carefully crafted smiles, something has been building, quietly. Tension growing between people who once worked side by side, and now it's starting to show.
Yeah, that's right, Phoebe. It's my responsibility, isn't it? The oldest sister, always supposed to be able to figure things out.
Fans are noticing the distance, the awkward interactions, the things that aren't being said, but feel louder than anything else. This isn't just drama. It's a feud that's getting worse behind the scenes. And the deeper you look, the more complicated it becomes. What makes a Hollywood feud truly fascinating isn't the moment it explodes.
Has there been any talk about you going on Letterman's Netflix show?
I don't hear all the talk. I don't know.
It's everything that happens before anyone admits there's a problem. Because in this world, conflict doesn't start with shouting matches or public call-outs. It starts quietly, controlled, almost invisible. At first, it shows up in ways most people would ignore.
I was happy to be in his box, got to sit behind his parents, which was really awesome to see them when he brings them up and where they started.
An anti-vaxxer?
Teased each other, suddenly stopped mentioning one another in interviews. A project that was supposed to bring them back together quietly disappears from discussion. Social media interactions fade. No likes, no comments, no acknowledgement. Individually, none of it seems like proof of anything, but together, it begins to form a pattern. And that's when people start paying attention. In Hollywood, relationships are part of the brand.
Is Nicole the love of your life?
What do you mean, Peter?
You were married for 10 years.
Listen, we raised children.
Studios invest heavily in chemistry between actors, directors, producers, because audiences don't just watch stories, they follow dynamics. Friendships sell films. Collaborations build careers. So when something shifts even slightly, it doesn't go unnoticed for long. Insiders often pick up on it first. A change in tone during press interviews.
Seems a bit more ambiguous. Do you find it hard for celebrities to talk to media about their sexuality?
What on earth are you on about?
Carefully worded answers where there used to be enthusiasm. Subtle deflections when one name is brought up. It's not open hostility, but it's not warmth either. And that grey area, that's where speculation begins. What makes it even more complex is how controlled everything is. Publicists, managers, and studio teams work behind the scenes to keep things smooth.
And, you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not.
If there's tension, it's rarely allowed to spill out directly. Instead, it gets managed, redacted, softened, or avoided altogether. But tension doesn't disappear just because it's hidden. It builds. Sometimes it starts with something small, a disagreement over creative direction.
There's no meaning to any of this, so I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am. I mean, you got to admit it's completely meaningless.
A clash of personalities, or even competition over roles, recognition, or influence. In an industry where reputation is everything, even minor conflicts can take on larger meaning, because it's not just about personal feelings, it's about image, it's about control. And sometimes, it's about power. When two high-profile figures are involved, every decision becomes layered.
I don't know if there's I don't know if there's a man alive who's not in love with you in some way.
You're so silly.
You know what am I really?
You're silly.
No, I'm not silly
You're a
at
silly
all.
man in a checkered shirt.
I am not. Wow.
Who gets top billing? Who gets more screen time? Who receives credit for success? And who gets blamed when something doesn't work? These aren't just creative choices, they're career-defining moments. And when those moments don't align, that's when things begin to fracture.
You said you can't go from a $2,000 a night hotel suite to a penitentiary and understand it and come out a liberal. Does that mean you're not a liberal, or that you came out of prison not being liberal?
Are we promoting a movie?
What makes this particular situation feel different is how long it's been simmering. This isn't a sudden fallout. It's something that appears to have developed gradually, over time, across multiple interactions, possibly even multiple projects. And that kind of slow tension is often the most difficult to resolve, because by the time it becomes visible, it's already deeply rooted. There's also another layer that complicates everything.
Welcome, two-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey.
Thank you. I am two-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey. You know, when I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy going to sleep. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner, Jim Carrey, going to get some well-needed shut-eye. And when I dream, I don't just dream any old dream.
Perception: fans don't see contracts, negotiations, or private conversations. They see moments, clips, photos, headlines, and from those fragments they build narratives. Sometimes those narratives are accurate, sometimes they're not.
It's awesome. I also want to thank the person who inspired this song, who knows exactly who he is, because now I got one of these. Thank you so much.
But once an idea takes hold, that two people are no longer on good terms, it spreads quickly. And in today's digital environment, silence can be interpreted as confirmation. That's why even the smallest interactions get analyzed: a glance during an event, a pause before answering a question, a noticeably absent mention in a speech.
And it's probably get me in trouble, but I said to some of my colleagues recently, so I know that it's an issue, but it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news, but sometimes I get so tired of talking about it, I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
Yeah.
Each one adds fuel to the speculation, and the more people look, the more they think they see. What's particularly telling in situations like this is not what's said, but what isn't. Because in Hollywood, people are trained to maintain appearances, to stay professional, to avoid controversy. So when distance becomes noticeable despite all that effort, it usually means something deeper is going on. And whatever that is, it hasn't reached its peak yet. As the tension continues to build, what happens next is rarely accidental. It becomes strategic, because at a certain point, silence stops being a shield and starts becoming a signal. This is where things shift from subtle distance to controlled messaging, not loud, not direct, but intentional. Carefully chosen words in interviews, slight changes in tone, moments where one person acknowledges creative differences while the other avoids the topic entirely. And in Hollywood, wording is everything.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
A single phrase can carry layers of meaning. Saying, "We're just on different paths right now," might sound harmless, but to insiders, it often translates to something unresolved, something that hasn't been fixed, only managed behind the scenes.
I would love to go. I'm afraid I would be kidnapped.
No, they don't even know who you are over there.
No.
These situations usually involve more than just two individuals. Agents step in. Publicists coordinate responses. Studios monitor the narrative closely, because when a feud starts to become visible, it doesn't just affect reputations.
Who is the biggest diva in the whole cast?
Yeah, who do you think?
Robert.
Oh, you think it's Robert?
Get that off the monitor.
It affects business. Projects can stall. Future collaborations become uncertain. Even ongoing productions can feel the pressure. Imagine trying to promote a film where the chemistry feels forced, where interviews are carefully structured to avoid certain questions.
Like you go to the Tonight Show in the States and there's 5 people in the audience.
No, that's only when you're there.
Where both sides are present, but clearly not aligned. Audiences may not know the details, but they can feel when something is off, and that feeling spreads. At this stage, there are usually two possible directions. The first is quiet resolution. Sometimes, after enough time passes and enough distance is created,
many followers have you got on Twitter? Because I'm not bragging, but I've got 4 million.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
That's amazing. I have 20.
Both sides find a way to move forward, not necessarily as close collaborators again, but as professionals who can coexist without tension dominating the narrative. This often happens away from the public eye. No big announcement, no dramatic reconciliation, just a gradual shift back to neutrality, but the second path.
I don't have a college degree, but I do have a yacht. So I guess we're even education.
That's where things escalate, because if the underlying issues aren't resolved, if the tension keeps building, eventually it becomes too visible to contain, and that's when controlled silence can turn into indirect conflict.
For you to watch, knowing that you got a crush on Helen Mirren, but I'm kissing Helen Mirren?
I was just wondering how your wife felt about that.
It might start with one side becoming more open in interviews, not naming names, but making comments that feel pointed, talking about difficult experiences, lack of support, or creative clashes. The other side may respond, not directly, but with their own version of events, subtle contradictions.
Your face that smells like garbage.
Your beard smells like the sewer.
Quick return from... I don't care for this game.
Different interpretations of the same situation. And suddenly, what was once hidden becomes a conversation, not fully exposed, but no longer invisible. This is the phase where fans, media, and industry insiders all start connecting dots in real time. Every appearance gets analyzed.
Here's the thing, Peter. Yeah. You're stepping over a line now. You're stepping over a line. You know you are.
I suppose they're questions
Peter,
that people want to know.
Peter, you want to know.
Every statement gets compared. Every interaction, or lack of one, becomes part of the story. And once it reaches this level, it's very hard to reverse, because now it's no longer just between the people involved. It's public, and public narratives have momentum. What makes this particular feud feel like it's getting worse isn't just the distance.
You don't want to talk about that either, right?
Oh God!
When you go to the rehab, what do they do?
We're here for a movie.
We have to what?
Let's stay on the positive.
Oh, what?
Aside from that side of the positive.
Yeah. All right. Now,
it's the consistency of it, the way the pattern continues without correction, the absence of any clear effort to reset the narrative, no shared moments, no mutual acknowledgement, no indication that things are improving. Instead, there's a steady drift.
The movie obviously is about the Joker, but it goes beyond that. It's really about the mental state he was in. Can you tell me a little bit about what research or what kind of what you did to prepare for this? Because this was really an intense performance. What was kind of the process of getting into that mindset?
Isn't this old news? Isn't this old news? I feel like I've talked about this for 6 months.
One that seems to be widening over time, and in an industry built on collaboration, that kind of separation doesn't stay isolated. It starts to influence decisions. Who works with whom, who gets recommended or avoided, which projects move forward, and which quietly fall apart, because behind every major production is a network of relationships.
You probably know me as the creator of The Office. No, you don't, do you?
You think Steve Carell did it all? Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he, Steve Carell? Where does he get his ideas from?
And when one of those relationships fractures, the ripple effect can reach much further than people expect. That's why feuds like this matter. Not just because they're dramatic, but because they reshape the landscape around them. And the most intriguing part, we're probably only seeing a fraction of it, the real conversations, the real disagreements, the real reasons behind the tension. Those rarely become public in full. What we see are fragments, controlled glimpses.
This that had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley, what's good?
Hey, we're all in this industry. We all do interviews, and we all know how they manipulate you. Nikki, congratulations. And just because the VMA...
Carefully filtered moments that hint at something deeper without fully revealing it, which leaves one question hanging. If this is what's visible, what's still being kept behind the scenes? If you enjoy breaking down stories like this, where what's happening beneath the surface is just as important as what's being shown, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who follows Hollywood closely, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Because in this industry, The real story is almost never the one you see first.